Okay, so let's start with a new topic, which is magnetic circuits. What we are doing here is a magnetic circuit is made up of one or more closed loop paths containing a magnetic flux. The flux is usually generated by permanent magnets or electromagnets and confined to the path by magnetic cores consisting of ferromagnetic materials like iron, although there may be air gaps or other materials in the path. The concept of magnetic circuits is based on solving some magnetic field problems using circuit approach. Magnetic devices such as toroids, transformers, motors, generators, relays may be considered as magnetic circuits. The analysis of such circuits is made simple if an analogy between magnetic circuits and electric circuits is exploited. Once this is done, we can directly apply concepts in electrical circuits to solve their analog magnetic circuits. Okay, so where do we apply such concept of magnetic circuits? So magnetic circuits is applied wherever there is circuits like our devices like toroids. Toroids are something like this. This is a toroid. Electromagnets or generators. Okay, so you have all these circuits or all these devices have some kind of magnetic core, some kind of a material which is a magnetic core, and you wrap around it a wire and pass a current I through it. The moment you do that, there is a flux generation. So such devices, right, you can convert such devices into circuits. The whole idea is to make life simpler so that you can at least do the numericals in an easier way. So here the point was like the concept of magnetic circuits is based on solving some magnetic field problems, okay, using circuit approach. So that's the concept, like if I can convert this kind of a device into something like this circuit, right, my life becomes simpler. So we already have done so many problems based on this kind of electrical circuits. So where I have a supply, I have a resistance, a load, and I pass a current through it. How much of a current will be generated? Okay, so such things become simpler if I can convert this kind of a circuit into this kind of a device, a magnetic device, into a magnetic circuit. The magnetic circuit looks very similar to this electrical circuit. Okay, now what are the equivalents? Like first thing we have to know, like here there is a supply. What will be equivalent to a supply in a magnetic device, right? So that equivalent analogies we'll have a look at it. So analogy wise, we have looked at conductivity sigma, which is same as mu in your magnetic circuit. Okay, you have electric field intensity E in the electric field. Same way you have the H, which is magnetic field strength. Okay, magnetic field strength in the magnetic circuit. So you have current I in electric circuit, which is same as flux in a magnetic circuit. Flux is analogous quantity to current I. So flux is given as B dot ds. Okay, so same way if we go ahead, we have a EMF, which is voltage in electrical circuit. So for a magnetic circuit we have something called as MMF. Okay, magnetomotive force, MMF. So we are going to convert MMF is a quantity which is created when you have any winding. Okay, so any particular, let's say a rod, you have a rod and I connect, I wind it with some windings, then equivalent circuit will be like I'll be able to convert this into, these are your windings, and I pass a current I through it. The moment I pass a current I through it, this will convert into the MMF. So MMF is, I can replace this with something like this, a supply, and I can give it a notation which is MMF. Okay, this will be your supply. So how in an electrical circuit a current flows? In a magnetic circuit you assume to have a flux. Okay, quantity flux here. Okay, so here in this case. Now another quantity which is of importance is resistance R. How you have resistance R in electrical circuit? You have reluctance, something called as reluctance. We look at it. What is the math behind this? What quantities will be used to calculate this? Then the reciprocal of reluctance is called as permeance. Okay, called as permeance. So we will just give this notation. Now another interesting thing is about the Ohm's law. Okay, Ohm's law, what it states is in an electrical circuit it is V by I. Here it is MMF divided by flux. Okay, so that is same as your reluctance. Okay, so here the Ohm's law in your electrical circuit it was V upon I equal to R is your Ohm's law. In a magnetic circuit it is given by the R will be replaced with reluctance. Okay, and V will be replaced with MMF, magnetomotive force, and I will be replaced with flux. Okay, clear? So think about some kind of a core which is circular. Okay, and it's hollow inside. So I wrap around it a wire, and I have around let's say n turns. Okay, so I have around n turns. This is the wire. I wrap it around it, so there are n turns, and then what happens is I pass a current I through it. What will happen is the moment I pass a current I, which is coming in this direction and it is going out in this, it will generate a magnetic field. Now this magnetic field is going to be in this direction, right? Now this magnetic field, since it's passing through some area, it's going to generate a flux, or the flux lines are going to be something like this, and it's going to be guided by this particular core. So these are the flux lines. You will have flux lines which will be flowing out in a, I can draw them properly. So something like this. So something like this concentric lines are what you are going to get. The direction of these lines, are going to be, the direction of the magnetic field are going to be in this direction, right? It's going to be in this direction. So these magnetic flux lines are going to generate flux, and they are going to be guided by the core. We are actually neglecting the flux lines which are generated in the air. Of course, this magnetic field is not only going to be restricted to the core. There is going to be magnetic field lines which will be going out in this medium, and they will be forming a loop here, something like that. But we will be neglecting that part. We'll assume that it's because it's going to be a very fringe effect. So what we'll assume is that the lines are guided by along this core. Now this flux lines, right, or this flux is if I calculate this, I will get a diagram something like this, right? Something like maybe these are your magnetic field lines, and then what I am going to get is there is a current which is going in here. There is a current which is going in, and there is a current which is coming out on this side. Okay, there is a current which is going out on this side. So because of the wire, so it's going in here and it's coming out, right? It's going in here and it's coming out on this side. So something like this is what you go to get. So if I use a Ampere's law, right? If I use a Ampere's law, then this is my H right? This is my H and this is a closed path. So H dot dl, what I am getting here is closed loop H dot dl, H dot dl will be equal to the number of currents that I am enclosing. So if I see that there are n turns here, these are your n turns. Right now it's showing 3, but I'm assuming that there are n turns. Then n into I is the number of currents, n into I is the amount of current enclosed by this particular closed path, right? This Ni is your MMF. This Mi and I is your MMF. Okay, MMF, magnetomotive force. Clear? Now I know that my my B reluctance is given as your psi is, yeah, so my psi flux is given as B dot ds, right? B dot ds. This is my flux, I know that. So the ds is the cross sectional area here. So it's going to be like some cross section you take. Okay, the amount of B that passes through this cross section will be multiplied by the area, will be giving you the flux. So now this B, I know that, or I can write this as B into area is the magnitude into area. Okay, so for this now from this point, okay, my my area of the, let's say this is your row, right? So what will happen here is let's say that this here is some diameter d. Okay, so what I'll be getting here is the area will be pi into, so if this is d, let's say this particular diameter of this core is a, then is 2a, then a will be the radius of the core, right? It's a hollow, I mean it's a cylindrical core. So what you will get here is b is given as mu h into pi a square, or area. Right now let's say pi a square, the area is pi a square, will not substitute it right now, pi a square. Okay, now I know that your h here, h dot dl here in this case, right? H dot dl is the dl path here, right? In this case, if you look at this, the dl here is yeah, so first let's go to this part. So I know that by definition reluctance is, if I look at the analog circuit here, reluctance is given by MMF divided by psi. Okay, MMF divided by psi. So I can write this reluctance as MMF divided by psi. I know MMF is equal to N into I, and this is given as mu h into A. So right now I'll replace this A area as S, because that's what is given in the textbook. So S is the cross sectional area. Okay, so what is cross sectional area is like here you know that there is it's kind of a core which is cylindrical. So when I cut this, when I cut it, what am I going to get is I'm going to get something like this, a circular piece. Okay, if I cut this and I take it out, slice it out, then I'll get a circular piece. So the cross sectional area of this particular circular piece is S. Okay, the area of that particular circular piece is S. So now I know that this will be mu h into S. Okay, Now there is another trick to find out this reluctance. What we'll do here is h.dl. Now if I look at the closed path here, what will be the length of the closed path? So if I say that this is the distance from this point, the distance from this center to the mean of this cylinder. Okay, so you have two concentric circles right here. So I can, yeah, so you have one concentric circle here, and you have another circle which is here. Okay, now the mean length will be the center circle. Okay, so something like this. In between the two circles, one circle will adjust it, and then we'll call it as a row. Okay, so that is given as so if I say that is my mean length, then the length of that particular closed path will be this complete closed path, where it starts from here, and this is, let's say, rho. The center of this distance is rho. What will happen is this closed path will be 2 pi into rho, right? So this will be given as h into 2 pi rho will be equal to Ni. The unit of MMF is ampere turns. Okay, ampere turns. Okay. So h into 2 pi rho will be my Ni. Okay, so now if I substitute it here, h into 2 pi rho, so 2 pi rho I will replace it again as L only. This 2 pi rho, the complete diameter will be my L, right? L of the core, the length of the core. So I can safely say h into L is equal to Ni, because this I'll replace this with L. Now only thing we have to consider is when I'm taking a L, and if it's a hollow cylindrical section, then that will be like, I always take the mean length. Okay, so then yeah, so I can replace this Ni as h into L divided by mu h s. So what I get, the reluctance is equal to L divided by mu s, and it's given as ampere turns upon Weber. That's the unit of reluctance. Clear?